Hi, I'm Cindy Atwood, and I'm here to share a story with you today about a penguin. A penguin is a bird. Now, it's not a bird like the birds we have around here because this bird can't fly. It is covered with feathers, just like our birds here. It's covered with black and white feathers mostly, a few little colored feathers, but mostly black and white. And they use that to help keep them warm because they live in cold places. Now, as I said, these birds can't fly. Instead of having wings like our birds, they have flippers, and they have webbed feet like ducks do. And the webbed feet and the flippers help them swim because they live near the ocean. They swim and catch fish to eat. They live in a cold areas of our country. They are excellent swimmers and divers, so they can feed themselves. But you know what? I have a story about a very unusual penguin. He is really something else. His name is Tacky the penguin. Now look at him. He's got on a wild-flowered Hawaiian-looking shirt. Tacky is very different than most penguins. This story was written by Helen Lester and illustrated by Lynn Munsinger. And this is the story of Tacky the penguin. Now, here is Tacky, and like I said, just like all penguins, he lives near the ocean, and he lives in an icy area. Here we go. There once lived a penguin. His home was an nice icy land that he shared with his fellow companions. Well, now look at his companions here. His companions were named Goodly, Lovely, Angel, Neatly, and Perfect. His name was Tacky. Tacky was an odd bird. I'd say he was. He doesn't look like these guys. They all look prim and proper with their little bow ties. What does Tacky have on? A wild-looking shirt with yellow flowers and a purple checkered tie. And he's eating a fish sandwich. How about that? Tacky is an odd penguin. Every day, Goodly, Lovely, Angel, Neatly, and Perfect greeted each other and quietly and politely. See, they're bowing, then they're shaking hands using their flippers. But Tacky greeted them with a hearty slap on the back and a loud, "Hey, what's happening?" Tacky was very different. Goodly, Lovely, Angel, Neatly, and Perfect always marched. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But Tacky always marched 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 6, 0, 2.5, 0. He was very different than his companions, wasn't he? He really was. His companions were graceful divers. Oh, look how they would dive off into the water. But Tacky liked to do splashy cannonballs. Oh my goodness, look what he did. Goodly, Lovely, Angel, Neatly, and Perfect always sang pretty songs like Sunrise on the Iceberg. Doesn't that sound lovely? Well, Tacky always sang songs like, How many toes does a fish have? Tacky was quite an odd bird. One day, the penguins heard the thump, thump, thump of feet off in the distance. This could mean only one thing. Hunters had come. Oh my goodness, look at them. Can you see how scared they're looking? Hunters are coming. These hunters came with maps and traps and rocks and locks, and they were rough and tough, and the thump, thump, thump drew closer. The penguins could hear their growly voices chanting, We're gonna catch some pretty penguins, and we'll march them with a switch, and we'll sell them for $1, and we'll get rich, rich, rich. Oh my goodness. Well, it scared them all. Goodly, lovely, angel, neatly, and perfect ran away in fright. Do you see where they're hiding? And they hid behind a big block of ice. But you guessed it, not Tacky. Well, Tacky just stood there alone, and the hunters marched right up to him, chanting, "We're gonna catch some pretty penguins, and we'll march 'em with a switch, and we'll sell 'em for $1, and we'll get rich, rich, rich." Well, there stood Tacky. "What's happening?" blared Tacky, giving one of the hunters an especially hearty slap on the back. They growled, "We're hunting for penguins. That's what's happening." Well, penguins, said Tacky. "Do you mean those birds that march neatly in a row?" And then he marched. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 6, 0, 2.5, 0. Well, those hunters looked pretty puzzled. They couldn't figure this out. They'd never seen a penguin like that. And then Tacky said, "Do you mean those birds that dive so gracefully?" And then he did a big old splashy cannonball, and the hunters looked wet and not too happy. "Do you mean those birds that sing such pretty songs?" And then Tacky began to sing, and from behind the block of ice came the voices of his companions, all singing as loudly and dreadfully as they could. "How many toes does a fish have, and how many wings on a cow? I wonder, yep, I wonder." Okay, did I catch some of you laughing at my singing out there? That's the way penguins would sing. The hunters could not stand that horrible singing. This could not be the land of the pretty penguins. They ran away with their hands clasped tightly over their ears, leaving behind their maps and their traps and their rocks and their locks, and not looking at all rough and tough. And here the others come out from behind their rock, and they're all celebrating. Goodly, lovely, angel, neatly and perfect, hugged Tacky. Tacky was an odd bird, but a very nice bird to have around. And that's the story of Tacky the penguin. Thanks for joining us today.